G'day YouTube, Warbles on a lot here. It's the 25th of April 2017. About 102 years ago, two of my father's uncles arrived on the beach at Gallipoli. Privates they were, Les Wharton and Hope Wharton. Hope ran out of ammunition and was retrieving wounded from no man's land when he was shot. An abdominal wound at about 11 o'clock on ANZAC Day. And his brother, Les Wharton, carried Hope down to the beach and put him on a rowboat. And it took him 3 days to die from septicemia. Les stayed there on ANZAC Cove for about 5 months, and then he broke an ankle, was repatriated to Egypt, then back to Australia. When his foot healed, he was promoted to sergeant, sent to England, went to France, was decorated with a military medal, shot through the shoulder, given his choice of assignment. He joined the Australian Flying Corps. He trained as a pilot. He flew one mission over the lines in a Sopwith Camel in October 1918. He became separated from his comrades. He attacked a pair of DFW two-seaters. On his own, he shot them down, shot one of them down anyway. He was then pursued by about half a dozen to a dozen Albatross fighters who shot holes in his fuel tank behind the seat, chased him into a cloud. When he came out from the cloud, he was hit on the head by a fragment of anti-aircraft fire and he crashed just behind the British lines. He came back to Australia and became a school teacher like nearly all the rest of his family. I'm descended from the black sheep, the blacksmith, the wheelwright and woodsman. And he raised his son to fly 30 trips over Germany, dropping bombs from a Lancaster in the Second World War. My mother's father, he got his pilot's licence in September 1917 and he tried to join the Australian Flying Corps, but because apparently he didn't finish high school, they enlisted him as a sergeant mechanic. Eventually, he got somebody in England to pay attention to his pilot's licence, and they sent him to the Australian Flying Corps training squadron on Salisbury Plain. And he didn't finish his training till March 1919, when he got his wings pinned on him by the King of England. But I grew up in a New South Wales country town, and the ANZAC legend was pretty much the religion when I was a kid. And eventually, I thought long and hard after nursing 2,000 veterans for an average of 10 days each, and I came up with a few thoughts of my own. ANZAC Day. The life force creates a human, lets him live and breathe and talk. In terms of design and of construction, it's a masterpiece of work. When a woman births a baby with her muscles hard as steel, screaming in a shower of tears and blood, it is not a minor thing, I feel. A child's mind is ever trusting, smiling, learning, growing bold. Should a grown-up tell untruths, how do little children know, believing all that they are told? And when they're shown of war's great glory, school-child Anzacs marching up the street, they fantasise they too are warrior heroes while they synchronise their feet. So should the flags unfurl and bugles blow, if the season comes again for shooting humans dead, won't they up and off and go? Because some politician said. And when the ones who live come home back here screaming, shit scared in their sleep, I wonder if they too will stand in glory for the school kids in those marches in the street. Australia-New Zealand Army Corps Day. That's how it's passed on. And you know, I've never had a kangaroo or a parliament of crows or a flock of chuffs suggest to me that I should go and kill anybody in defence of this land. Isn't that a curious thing? Real Australians find no honour or glory in killing. That's what they tell me. Anyway, they don't think very much at all of national pride, patriotic beliefs. Anyway, time to make tracks. Otherwise, I'll be late. And that would never do. By the way, I think of my two great uncles and my grandfather as having had a short war, a long war and a great war. Short war was Hope. Hope was gut shot first day. Lived for 3 days. He had a very short war. Les had a long war, 1915 to 1918. And my grandfather, he had a great war. He was in the services for 2 years. He joined up on New Year's Eve 1917 and he demobilised on Christmas Eve 1919. Never saw a shot fired in anger, never heard a shot fired in anger, travelled the world, got his pilot's licence in the Australian Flying Corps, got his commission, came home an officer and a gentleman, married the pretty girl even. Short war, long war, great war. Different people have different experiences. So, we are on our way to take my mother to ANZAC Day. Therefore, 20 years after I stopped going to ANZAC Day, 20 years after I wrote the poem on going to ANZAC Day, because at 80, she's getting too old to be able to bend over and lay a wreath. There is a commandment, thou shalt honour thy mother and thy father. Therefore, though I'm a pacifist, I'm going to ANZAC Day. Regardless of how conflicted that sort of makes me feel. And look, sometimes man's got to do what man's got to do. This is 1914. To 1919. One little town and shire of 10,000 people. And there's two sides to it. These gates are a 1922 instalment. Both sides. Ten columns of names. I think there's 40 names in each column, which makes this 800 veterans of World War One. And here we have a remembrance walk. Boer War, Gallipoli, National Servicemen, Lone Pine, Amiens, Armentières, Flanders, France, Tobruk, Vietnam. Glen Innes Vietnam contingent. Long Tan, Cap Yong, Libya, El Alamein, Egypt, Korea. Marion Singh, Rwanda, Borneo, Malaya, Afghanistan, East Timor, Milne Bay, Iraq, Crete, Kokoda Tract, Burma, New Guinea, Greece, Sandakan Death March, Syria, First World War, Second World War, still there today, Germany, Menin Road, Passchendaele, the Somme, Villers-Bretonneux, Beersheba, last successful cavalry charge of all time, Anzac Cove, Suvla Bay, and that is just way too backlit to show.
They've got them up at Northern Territory, I think.
Catafalque party preparing for their day's efforts. It beginneth. World War II vets. Contingent from the 76 Squadron. State Emergency Service. Rural Fire Service. They fantasise, they too are warrior heroes as they synchronise their feet. So if the flags unfurl and bugles blow, if the season comes again for shooting humans dead, won't they up and off and go because some politician said? And the whole place is now filling up with townspeople participating in ANZAC Day. Sort of makes the cult of war look like the closest thing to a national secular religion that Australia has to offer. I cannot resist recording. Here we see Jacob wearing my uncle's Royal Australian Military Engineers uniform, which was cut down for me to wear to the Glen Innes Primary School ball in about 1971-72. What's the unit? And we get a roll. And everybody was greatly impressed. Full 360 pan. And my battery's just about to die. On a lot of YouTube. Ciao.